I need to ask you one question. What's your favorite cipher?
My favorite Sotra Cypher?
Yeah.
There's an episode that I dropped a few weeks ago, part 63. Part 63 features a cat called Nwatu and a female vocalist / MC called Ferdy. And funny enough, I discovered them on the same evening. At an event called Heartbeats Worldwide. And literally, as they got off stage, I was geeking out and got their contacts. And that episode is probably one of my favorite, period. That's my favorite.
Over Stogie.
Why are you doing this to me?
Why are you putting homie on the spot?
It's fine. Next time.
No worries. Yeah, what up, good people? How y'all doing? Good vibes as always. We are live and direct. It'll be live when you see it anyway. Live and direct from VW in Melrose. You know, we out here, Sema Bourgeois, you feel me? Similar to the hood where our guest comes from, it's in Soweto, but our word on the street is Protea Glens, you know, it's bougie.
It's the hood.
It's the hood. I'm your boy, Uncle Kash, also known as the Joburg Bachelor. Thank you to everyone who's going to watch this content. You know what time it is. I would like to acknowledge my partner in this new production that we are yet to name. So I'm sure Joe Budden would be very proud. Shout out to that good man. As I mentioned before, we are recording from VW in Melrose. Some new show, new content. We'll tell you everything about it as the show progresses. But obviously, as you're seeing, we got a guest. It wouldn't be our kind of content if we don't have guests who are cemented in this kind of culture. But obviously, housekeeping, I just want to thank and acknowledge the people who made this show happen. Thank you to VW in Melrose for giving us the platform. Thank you to the one and only Mo, aka Mo Money, Mo Problems. And thank you to Gemma. Well, obviously, you'll know who Gemma is in the future. And obviously, we've got a guest. But before I get to the guest, I'd like to introduce my co-host. I've got a co-host who's going to be helping me. I know the team in the background is like, who's this guest? We don't see no guest. There we go. I just want to introduce y'all to my guest who goes by the name of
Shiroko.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Shiroko. You want to say something to the people? Nah, he's like Russell Simmons on Def Comedy Jam. He'll say something later on, yeah. So welcome to the first episode. We appreciate everything that's going to go on. But yeah, how do I introduce my guest? How do I introduce my guest? Before I even do that, some of you are wondering, why are you recording at a VW? Watch the content. You'll know what time it is. There's going to be more snippets, more info on TikTok, and my mic is misbehaving, but that's the good thing about creative spaces and having homies. They'll come through and make it happen. To our guest is I don't even want to say a Soweto aficionado. He's definitely not a car person, because when I called him this week, yo, bro, we're recording at VW in Melrose. We're going to get into cars. And yo, bro, I know nothing about cars.
Yep.
But one thing he knows a lot about is Soweto and hip-hop.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only award-winning New York Film Festival award-winning speaker, the man behind the Slaghuis documentary, Cussy Rap Records. Shout out to Enzo. We're going to get into your shows, but I was actually looking at this man's got so many shows. Let me get into shows. SA Hip Hop Battle documentary, Slaghuis documentary, Film Awards, shows on SABC, Beat Makers Market, and like I mentioned, Cussy Rap Records. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Speaker, Thapelo. I'm going to leave the last name to you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's good, bro?
Thank you much. Yeah, I'm easy.
Easy.
Cash rules
Thing
everything
around me. Cream, let's get it out here. Dollar bills. Yeah, so, bro, I think what I want to do first and foremost is just obviously paint a picture of who you are. One thing I like in the content space right now is people are intentionally giving people their flowers. I think hip-hop, it's always unfortunate that a lot of people, we wait until the person's passed on.
Right.
Obviously, I don't want to make it heavy,
Yeah.
But what I obviously want to do is just want to acknowledge you, give you your flowers, because you're someone who was at the precipice of hip hop. We're going to get into the Slaghuis documentary. Slaghuis gave us the legends like the late R.I.P. Pro Kid. Max came through. There's a lot of great people who came through at that time of hip hop. So please do go check out that documentary. It's available on YouTube. We'll share our guest links and all the information in the bio. We'll share everything. But I think that's the best place to start. I mean, your love for hip hop that transcended you. Leaving corporate, going full time. How does that happen? Because that's not an easy decision.
So, I've always been like mad. Infatuated is putting it lightly. I've been like madly in love with hip hop, with the culture, since I was a kid. Before I even knew that it was called hip hop, I was always like, when they appear on TV, you're like, wow, those guys.
Yeah.
I want to go there also, me.
You want to be one of those dudes.
Yeah. And funny thing is, I actually got introduced to hip hop by accident.
Word?
When I was about 8, 9, there's this joint by the Fugees, Killing Me Softly.
Classic.
Killing Me Softly, right?
Classic.
So, as an 8, 9-year-old, when a popular song comes on and you know all the lyrics. So I was one of those kids that I knew all the lyrics to Killing Me Softly. I don't know what the hell El Boogie and them were talking about. It's just a vibe to me.
And it works.
So Mom Dukes, shout out to my mother.
Yep.
She picked up that my boy likes the song. Let me go buy him. Let me go find out who these people are and buy him the cassette, right? Cool. Mom goes to the record shop. Hey, there's this song Killing Me Softly. Like, oh, okay, that's from this group called the Fugees. Okay. So Mom's is thinking this is a soul group or whatever.
Little did she know.
Brings me the tape home. She's like, that song you like? Here's the tape. I'm like, word? Thanks, Mom. Put it on. And if you've heard the score, that album, the score.
Rough House Records.
Right?
Yep.
The intro comes in. Yeah. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And the first song that comes on.
Pick up your
How
microphones.
Many mics, right? And that was like my literal introduction to hip hop. Because at the time I was mostly Kwaito, because I'm heavy into Kwaito is the first love, right? So I assumed that was like American Kwaito. Yeah. That's actually what I called it at the time. I was like, this American Kwaito is fine.
Oh, word. I've never heard that, bro. I think you're probably the owner who gave it that tag.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's where it began. And because I was listening to TKZ like heavily at the time.
Yeah.
So to
Legends.
me, they were like Kwaito. They were the kings of Kwaito. So anything else that I heard after them was sort of,
below
their
that,
understudies or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
So cool, fast forward, high school, I get into hip hop some more. I start going into ciphers and things like that.
Yeah.
With my best friend at the time, Kimo. Shout out to Kimo. He sort of helped create this monster as well. This hip hop obsessed monster as well. And then got into making beats shortly after that. And then once I figured out that I wanna get into making music, and initially I actually wanted to be
a rapper,
an artist, like quite an artist or a rapper or whatever. But when I eventually found my feet and realized that we can't all be MCs, you know, that's when.
True to that, bro. Some of y'all need to take note.
Some of y'all need to stop.
Somebody just stop.
Right?
You know, like
yeah. So now, because I'm just running through everything, right? And
go
then
for
fast
it, bro.
forward to I now have I'm an adult now. I have a 9-to-5, and at the time I had decided, you know what, man, this whole music thing isn't working out, so I'm just going to focus on my 9-to-5 at the time. Not really. It hadn't really sunk in that this thing was an actual calling until what would happen is I used to work nights, right? So I clock in at work at 3 p.m. and clock out at 11 p.m. And I'm at home by midnight.
Call center, right?
Right? So by midnight, I mean, obviously, I'm exhausted.
You're done.
So instead of me sleeping, what would I do? I would make beats.
Make beats, bro.
I would make beats until like 4 a.m. in the morning. And I would do that like literally every day after my shift. And that's when it clicked that, man, if I'm coming home from work and still putting in work
the hours
for this thing that I love, then it must be a calling, right? So the actual thing that triggered me to finally go, I'm quitting this whole 9 to 5 thing. I'm going to pursue this thing was an interview of WHP.
Yeah.
WHP, he was interviewed by Gareth Cliff in 2016 in April. I will never forget.
Never forget the date.
So in that interview, he was speaking about how, he
Challenges
had mental health issues, and he wanted to take his own life like 3 times, And one of the things that he said that sort of was like the as Oprah would call it, the aha moment.
Yeah.
Was when he said he decided that instead of trying to, end it all, what would happen if I just do what I want to do with my life and let whatever it is
happen,
kill me,
yeah,
right? So I thought about that, and for like a whole month, I was replaying that same interview literally every single day before bed. I'd listen to WHP, and he would be in my ear like, yo, man, get out of there.
This ain't you.
This ain't you. And eventually I pulled the trigger and quit my job and basically shifted my focus and my time, because I used to be a good, like, at my job.
Yeah.
I'd show up on time, I'd meet all my targets. So I shifted my focus to my passion.
Yeah.
And fast forward, here we are. This was 2016. Yeah. So everything since 2016 that I've been doing since has been because of hip hop.
Yeah. You know what? One thing that happens with a love and a passion, a lot of people always have that internal battle. Like, do I quit the job? 9 to 5, I know. We've had you on NHA, shout out to NHA.
Yeah.
You mentioned you obviously working in call center. A colleague of yours, even like, because like you said, you take pride in what you do.
Yeah.
One of your former colleagues made fun of the fact you really like this job.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I didn't even like that, bro. Like, take pride in what I do. And the reason I'm highlighting about taking pride in what you do is when wanting to make a transition from leaving corporate or even toying with the decision, everyone's got responsibilities.
Right.
So it's always that leap. We hear it from artists, creatives, actors, rappers, even athletes at some point. Because some people have talent. Because it's all like talent combined with passion.
Right.
But now, besides the passion, was there anything else that made you like take that leap of faith? Because obviously once you leave the 9 to 5, no more income. And how was that first couple of months or first year of not earning the regular like salary?
I mean, obviously top of the list because, I'm a dad, right?
Yeah.
So obviously you start thinking like, okay, Sharp, you're quitting your job, but who's going to buy the Pampers? Who's going to pay the school fees, So instead of me going full on, it's just going to be hip hop one way, I sort of tried to figure out ways of getting a bit of income. So how I did that was running my little studio, right? So recording sessions, beats, and by the way, selling beats is probably the hardest sales job you could ever have in your life.
Yeah, because homies want beats, but when it's time to cut the check,
man,
all the stories for Africa, bro.
I have countless instances where I tell homies, they would come at me like enthusiastic, like, yo, Speeka, we want to work, dog.
Let's
beats, da-da-da.
Yeah, let's
go,
cook, let's work.
So there's my rate, and then crickets.
Nothing but crickets.
Right? So it was mostly through recording, and then what also happened that same year when I quit my 9 to 5 was I started a learnership at the SAPC.
Okay.
And how that also happened was also through just being a nerd for hip hop. Because when I'm online, talking Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, I'm always talking hip hop.
Yep.
Always, right?
Consistently.
So a homie of mine, Jugs, shout out to Jugs, he DM'd me like, hey, brah, I see you out here. You're always talking music and hip hop. There's this learnership at the SABC. Why don't you go check it out? And then that's when I thought, oh, cool. Actually, since I am taking this thing seriously, it would be nice to have some sort of qualification
attached to
show
it.
cats that, I'm about this life. So I started a learnership at the SAPC in around August, September 2016. And yeah, that was another way of, because we had a little stipend. So it was the stipend from the learnership. It was the
beats on the side.
The beats on the side.
For the rappers who did pay.
For the rappers who did pay, you know. So and that's sort of how I was able to stay afloat while chasing this hip hop dream, which is, hey, what a dream, man.
It is a dream, but I think one thing about passions,
Yeah.
and I just want to probably stay on there a little bit, is that balance of sticking it through. Because there are people who are actors, people want to be rappers, you know, even athletes. There are the hard moments. For me, whether it's mental, whether finances not balancing, what was the key for Speeka in terms of, oh, you know what, I'm going to stick this through? Because we know plenty of people be like, yo, people will say it on socials, like, you know what, I tried it, I'm going back to the 9 to 5. But you, because 2016 is a long time ago. It's like 8 years. You're 8 years cemented of, I'm not going back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So how did you handle the tough times when things weren't balancing?
It was just straight up being obsessed with this thing and not letting anything else sort of either talk me down or try to basically what's that Nas joint where he's like no negative energy, none of that. So that was my whole thing. You know, if you came at me and tried to tell me, hey man, are you sure? Even though I knew that I was sitting on a 0 rand bank balance, I'd be on some homie. I'm sure.
I'm more than sure.
I am sure, because what I did was, like I mentioned about shifting my focus. I was before I got the learnership, I would wake up every single morning at like 4 a.m. as if I'm going to work. But what was I doing? I would wake up early, turn on the PC, and just be on YouTube, just researching
how to make beats, anything hip-hop.
Anything that was related to this thing that I have now chosen to pursue.
Yeah.
So just keeping the focus on, man, I've decided that I'm gonna let this thing kill me, and if I don't do anything about it by trying to make everything around it work, then I'd be not only failing myself, but failing the people that are depending on me to bring home the Pampers.
Exactly. Bring home the bacon.
You know, so it was just, and like there were moments where I was sitting alone and I won't even front. They would be on some, you know what, man, maybe I should go back to, and then I'd quickly slap myself out of that talk, like, nah, no, let's go.
Not happening.
It's just like a crazy amount of focus, man.
Yeah.
A crazy amount of focus and obsession for the craft.
Yeah, because with passion and obsession is like that's how basically how you see things through. Because I think the main thing is people see the end product. Because bro, you put in work. Like I've been following you for a minute. Like we look just your socials alone.
Yeah.
Your passion comes in how much work you put in, and not giving up. And in terms of passion, one of my favorite Speeka topics is definitely the Slaghuis documentary.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's just like, as someone who's just a huge fan of not only hip hop but SA hip hop.
Yeah.
And then you're more than SA hip hop, you're Kasi hip hop.
Yeah.
How did you get the chance to shoot that documentary? Because for me, you can't talk SA hip hop without talking the Slaghuis documentary, without talking Cape Town and Prophets of the City. But for me, for talking just you and your contribution, how did you get involved in shooting? And then probably just start by telling us what is Slaghuis first of all, and that era.
All right, so Slaghuis, for those of you who don't know, was a...
And y'all should know.
Man...
Y'all should really know.
Yeah. So Slaghuis was a hip-hop movement from Soweto that started in 2003 when I was in grade 9. And yeah, so every Sunday in Deep Kloof, a group of young, very, very, hungry and gifted creatives got together and put together this thing called Slaghuis, where they would invite everyone to come through, whether you want to come through and rap, whether you just want to come through
spoken word.
Not so much spoken word,
here
but
and
it was
mostly a rap.
Mostly rap, right? And at the time, because like I said, I was in grade 9. I went there for the first time in 2004 when I was in grade 10. And during that time, I only went there like twice. That's only because Deep Kloof is like in one part of Soweto, right?
Yep.
Protea Clan, where I'm from, is on literally the end of Soweto. So now you're talking about the beginning of Soweto, where the Slaghuis sessions were,
To the other
to the
side.
end, to the edge of the earth, in Protea Clan. So
And that time you're in grade 9.
I'm in grade 9, I'm in grade 10. So I had a curfew, you know. Moms and pops weren't playing that. Like, yo, you
Where
have
are
to
you?
be home. You know, if the street lights are on and you're not at home,
There's a
it's
problem.
beef, right?
Exactly.
So I would go to the Slaghuis sessions while the sun is out, and then look at the time, like, yo, man,
Taxis.
I gotta be out, 6 p.m., I'm out. And I'd always hear, yo, man, after you left, Pro came through, and it was a jump, So I would always have this FOMO, like,
I missed the best part of it.
Again.
Yeah.
So fast forward, 2016, the Slaghuis sections made a comeback. Now, 2016, I'm now a full-on adult.
Yep.
That's when the sessions came back, I went to every single one.
You're the first one there,
Yep.
last one to leave.
Yep. so I was like, I was making up for lost time, and I was there every single time, and I had the time of my life. So Slaghuis was very, very important. During the 2003-2004-5 era, they were responsible for showcasing cats like the late great Pro. They had Abo Moli, F-Easy, 985. I'm forgetting a few, but quite a number. Pitch Black Afro also, you know.
Like
so
golden generation, bro.
right. So this is now early, like 2003. This is now when SA hip hop is like becoming a thing
At its precipice,
and it was also during the time when Kwaito was so big that the Kwaito artists and the Kwaito fraternity had like this little beef with SA hip hop, which was unnecessary, but at the time,
competition,
you
bro.
know, and funny thing is, in the hood, I was like part of this Kwaito group, but when
Now you're leaning.
but when I got to school, I was a hip hop head, so I was sort of like leading a double
Double
life,
life.
and I didn't get the whole Kwaito versus hip hop thing, because I've always felt like they could not only coexist, but create magic together.
Yeah, like be in the same space, because the beauty of Kwaito, if you really think of it, it's like you said earlier, Kwaito is like a form of rap. It's besides the vernac, but it's just ingrained at 100% South African.
Exactly.
And then when cats branched off to hip hop, it was, I like the fact that, look, to have SA rappers and SA hip hop, it was always going to be necessary because not everyone could get into Kwaito.
Right.
You couldn't carry that like talent or product. Not everyone could be a Kwaito like star, period. Or just be in that space. But then other guys could do it with rap. So, but I remember it got deeper like that. Oh, Asimo States back in the day.
Right.
Kwaito dudes calling anyone who's into hip hop, even if you're a fan, calling you the N word, like yo, like we see you, calling you yo and all that other stuff.
My man.
Yeah, yo, my man. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But I think for you then to fast forward to then shooting the actual documentary and how does that happen? Because I know you were a fan and you were in the space. So who made that happen?
So now it's around 2016, 2017, and I started sort of. At the time, I didn't realize it, but I was sort of building a rapport, a friendship, a relationship with my now mentor, Enzo. Right, Enzo is one of the founders of Slaghuis. Right, so at the time, he had started a company called Where's the Beef Media. Right,
Yeah.
and Where's the Beef Media had this competition where you submit a song. Right, they partnered with OM Films, Offense Moase.
Yeah.
And whichever song got to 10,000 downloads, you got a music video shot for that song. So I submitted my song, which was Patiama Pansola, and I won that competition.
Ah, nice.
And we got the music video shot, and that's how sort of me and Enzo started, working together.
Collaborated.
So that's 2017. Cool. Fast forward to a year later, we're having a casual discussion, and he says to me, would you present a TV show? I've never presented a TV show in my life, but because again,
it's
with
hip-hop.
me, if you mention hip hop, the answer will
always be
99%. The answer will probably be yes. So I was like, yeah, sure. I've never presented, but I was like, yeah, sure.
I got this.
So that's when we shot the first season of Kasi Rap Records. This was in 2018, around September. We shot the first season of that. and then we sort of like shelved it, and he was still trying to shop it, to like see if we could get it played on TV and whatever. So when we were supposed to link up to talk about where to from there, right? Like one of the first meetings we were supposed to have, it was, and it's crazy how we just came from the weekend of the 2nd of March, right? The 2nd of March, this 2nd of March 2024 was on a Saturday, right? In 2019, the 2nd of March was on a Saturday, which was my birthday, right? And I had a meeting with Enzo on the 4th of March, on the Monday. Same as this past Monday, the 4th of, right?
Carbon copy.
Right? So on the 2nd of March, I had a DJ gig. I had to go play at a 985 gig in Deep Kloof, right? So at that gig, I was rocking one of the T-shirts that I got from when we were shooting the TV show, right? So at that event, at that 985 gig, this dude pulls up to me, confrontational, ready to start something. Like, yo, man, where'd you get that T-shirt,
bro?
Who you is, homie?
Exactly, bro. What
right?
set you rapping? Who are you, bro?
So I'm like, sorry. So now I'm like, nah, I got this from the homie Enzo. What's up?
Yeah. So like, they're like, so you with that dude Enzo?
And now he's, because they weren't seeing eye to eye. He's like, all right, man, and his exact words were, you gonna die for things that don't even concern you, right? So I'm like, what?
Like,
that's crazy.
That's
talk
crazy
for
for T-shirts, exactly.
Right? And then thankfully it didn't escalate
right to that level.
So we let it slide. Cool. Monday I link up with Enzo. I'm like, Epra. So this past weekend,
this happened.
I was rocking a Slaghuis T-shirt, and my man's came up to me,
pulled up on me.
He's like, "Word," and now he starts feeling bad. Like, oh man, this again.
It didn't have to go down like that.
And then he's like, man, I really wish. Yeah, because he's like, yeah, that guy who hit you up, and I sort of like described him, a short dude, dark skin, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, that's one of the guys that we used to, run Slaghuis with. And
when we started,
there's a bit of friction now. And then he says, and this is how the seed got planted. It's like, man, I really wish someone would just tell the story
of Slaghuis,
blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I could probably do that. Again, I've never shot a documentary. I've never
produced content at that level.
No, at that time, all I'm doing is I'm running Sotra Cyphers. I point a camera at rappers and they rap.
Plain and simple.
In terms of film, I'm just a fan. Like I'm a film like nerd.
A movie buff,
like crime dramas,
Sopranos,
right? Yeah. Like dockies and whatever. But when he said that, and immediately, because I'm like, okay, this is hip hop. Why not? And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. I was like, all right. And he says, all right, cool. Draws up a list of contacts of everyone that I'm going to need to contact if I'm going to do this docu, right? Because obviously I was doing the docu from my perspective as someone who's just a fan of the culture.
And wants to tell the story.
So I was like, all right, cool. So it must have been a list of like easily close to 40 people. Man. 40 people that I needed who were somehow involved with Slaghuis.
When it started, yeah.
And there I was, caught off the call. Obviously some people thought I was just a kid taking chances. They didn't, when we would go, yeah, can I highlight you? I just want to talk to you about Slaghuis. Some of them were skeptical, like, who are you?
Who are you affiliated with?
Who are you affiliated with? And so that was crazy. And another thing that he helped us out with was the archives, because again he was running this a media company called Where's the Beef, and he had archives for days.
Yeah,
and he basically just said,
there you go. And that was for me one of my favorite parts of the Slaghuis documentary is just watching the old archival footage, bro. Like, took me back 90s, almost like the VHS quality, the camera, like, right. Which is great to show the story. Because sometimes when you tell a story and it's in current day, it's cool, it's second person, but when you actually see clips
Right.
of guys getting booed, the crowd going jaya,
Yeah.
going crazy, seeing pro kid like,
Yeah.
coming from church, but it's gay, it's like he's spitting.
And you're speaking to people who
Who
were
are actually there.
who saw him.
It wasn't exactly, not
Right.
saw him do his thing, it wasn't second-hand information.
Yeah.
All right, so from there, get the archives, then
Yeah, then it was me and the homies, Time Zone, shout out to Time Zone, and the homie Teddy Broski, who was on camera. So Time Zone, he's an actual like broadcaster.
all right,
Like I mentioned, I wasn't
in that space.
in that space, so I needed someone who could actually interview people the way a broadcaster would.
Yeah.
So he came through every single maybe I did like probably 1 or 2 interviews by myself, but most of the time he was there conducting the interviews, and we would we would ambush cats in their workspaces,
That's the one part where you guys pull up with the dude. But shout out to him for letting you guys interview him. He was actually in the work golf t-shirt.
DJ Chicken.
Yeah, DJ Chicken. Y'all pulled up on DJ Chicken.
Yo, we pulled up at his workplace. Like in fact, in the darky, he's rocking like
The workplace golf shirt.
you
That
know,
is classic,
you
bro.
know. Yeah. So yeah, man. So we did that for a good 3-4 months, and then when we were done, again, it wasn't a thing that we're trying to like sell it to whatever. We were like, okay,
We just want people.
told the story, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on my YouTube.
Yeah.
Did that, and honestly, bro, like I wasn't expecting
The response that you
the
got.
response, right? Because when we dropped it, it was insane, man. I would go onto Twitter, and I was getting props from guys like Stoke, Slicker,
Yeah.
Cooley, like people that I never
Even thought.
thought would even care.
About-
They were like, yo, man, this Slaghuis doc is incredible. Shout out to Speaker. Yo, this, so.
It's because there's not enough people documenting
Right.
that kind of stuff.
So yeah, so for me that was crazy and a very important part of me being able to tell the Slaghuis story without a shadow of a doubt was my mentor Enzo, because after that we then went on to collaborate on more stuff together, things like the hip hop effect. I did the voiceover for that.
Yeah.
He did the battle rap docu, so he
Yeah.
directed that, and I co-wrote that with him.
Nice.
So I think if I hadn't, had the balls big enough to go, I'll do the docu for you.
It doesn't
I don't
happen.
think we would have done anything else after that.
After
'cause
that.
he saw that and was like, okay, this kid is about the culture and he's about that. So
And it's got initiative and drive. Because
Right.
sometimes that's what you just want, for people to see that, look, if you give me the resources, VW, we'll make it happen.
yeah, so everything that we've done some beautiful work ever since. Like we even did the Pro Kid docu, right, which
Bro,
he directed,
man.
and I did. So
Brilliant documentary.
so he's like a central figure in me finding my feet in this whole
in the whole space.
documentary making, filmmaking, and we even ended up winning like international
So-
awards for the Slaghuis docu, which was insane.
That is crazy because that was during COVID.
Yes,
How you get a New York Film Festival during COVID?
bro. And it was actually in passing, when we dropped the docu, I forgot who it was. They were like, have you considered entering this docu into any film festivals? I was like, yeah, sure, but how do I do that?
Yeah.
They told me about this website, Film Freeway. Went on there, and most of these festivals, you need to
Pay, obviously.
cough out some cash. And
For
at the
submission,
time,
yeah.
I didn't have anything, so I only submitted to the free one. So one of the free festivals was the New York Hip Hop Film Festival, and they had just started out in South Africa, which was perfect for me. So I was like,
Perfect time.
you guys want to come to South Africa?
Yeah.
I'm definitely. So I submitted that, and this is like late 2019, and then we got the word that we got selected during lockdown in March.
Man, what a buzzkill.
You
Like the
know.
very first lockdown, 2019 March.
Right? They were like, yo, man, we saw your film, we love it. It's an official selection for the New York Hip Hop Film Festival. And then fast forward to when now they're telling us, okay, so you not only are you guys in the festival, you've also been nominated for Best Documentary.
Wait,
What? All right, cool. Not fast forward. Not only have you guys been nominated, you won Best Docu, bro. And this is
It was
during lockdown.
During lockdown, when most award shows, it was just online. You log in, they announce it.
So we couldn't.
Man, you couldn't even travel. You travel to the mecca of hip hop. Go to New York.
My lifelong dream of traveling to New York. Couldn't happen because of COVID. So I just had to accept the award online. Yeah. But either way, you know, it was
a great achievement, bro. Congrats to you, bro.
Hectic. Yeah,
because I think for me, like every time I think of Speaker, like Sotra Cypher is cool. But award essay hip hop New York Film Festival award winner, because it's a big thing, and we have to give you just give you your dues and your kudos, because I love how your passion just comes through. Speaking of passion, how you get your beats on Full Clip? For me, Full Clip is like Slaghuis, another pivotal moment in SA hip hop. How you get a
the Full Clip?
A great time in hip hop.
Probably, I think when I try to, when I try
to
timeline, rewind, I think the Full Clip was the first time that I got a cosign from someone in the game.
Yeah,
that was the first time. The first time Sizwe was on YFM saying, "Yo, the Speaker kid is bananas." That was the first time someone that established ever gave me props. Bro, I'll never forget. I was in bed. I was in bed listening to the Full Clip. When he said that, I jumped out. I was like, what is going on?
Exactly.
What is this?
Exactly, bro. Like,
what is going on?
Like, did I hear correctly?
Did this man just
say? Because beat production, because a lot of, I remember a lot of the guys, rappers who were going onto the show were using beats. So I remember C's at the time, like, yo, cool. But actually, cool story about your beats being used on Full Clip was before they would drop beats, rappers freestyle. Yeah. Then the one rapper in particular, like, yo, I got my own beat. And I'd shout out to Sizwe and then for letting dude use his beat. So, cool. Beat is dope. And she was like, yo, who did the beat? Speaker. And that was the first time that happened. And then the cat's like, yo, you found out what got back to you that your beat was used. Actually, you even heard it, right? When the dude did the rap, like when it's been like, yo, this is my production. Like the first time a beat, if I remember correctly. Like the first dude who played a beat on Full Clip.
Oh, the Full Clip.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was then you guys and the homies then went to Full Clip, right? So now at Full Clip, because I'm sure you were psyched, you took all the homies, rappers, and it's like, dude, we have to go there. And it comes back to the passion.
And just even before my beats got played, how we got like inspired to go to the Full Clip was there was the first time I ever tuned into the Full Clip, Red Button was on. Shout out to Red Button. Fun fact, my B-Tech speaker, that's Red Button. For those who don't know, that's Red Button.
That's what's up.
Red Button was on YFM, and he was, and they asked him, so which other guys would you recommend are like fire? And then I listened close. I waited for this, and he said, in my hood, the guys like Abo Froz, Abo Ma7, Abo X-Ray. When he said that, immediately, because he mentioned literally everyone that I was working with at the time. I'm like, fellas, next week.
We're going to
because even C's is like, yeah, man, tell your homies to come through. I call Abo Ma7, I'm like, yo, homies, Nis Williams, you heard that? We are there next week, right? And we pulled up, and I remember even when we got, it was before they would screen cats.
Yeah.
We just pull up and they let us in the studio and we were chilling in there, and my homies got on the mic, and at the time they didn't use my beats, but the fact that we were there was insane, bro. And then fast forward maybe a few weeks later, that's when we went there, because I wasn't the only beat maker in the circle, right? There were other beat makers, like actually Tweezy, but at that time he went by N20.
Okay.
I remember that whenever an MC would go on, we'd be on some, all right, use a speaker beat. No, use a N20 beat, Tweezy, right? So it was a bunch of us, but it just so happened that most of the time in our circle, when cats would go on, they would use my beats. So that's kind of how C's finally figured out, like, man, there've been like 4 cats here, and all of them have been saying this is a speaker beat, and all those beats are fire. So that's when he shouted me out for the first time, and he was like, on air, he's like, yo, speaker man, send beats. I was like, you don't have to ask me twice.
Because if C's was saying send beats,
I went up there. I put it in a CD. You remember CDs? You remember CDs?
The days of CD are that era.
I put out like 15 beats, and I put there in an envelope. I wrote there in a permanent marker, attention, Sizwe Jomo Beats. Left it at reception and bounced. And then the next week, shout out to Speeka, I just got beats from him. And then since then, like whenever artists would pull through, I remember Rhapsody was in the country.
Bro.
And they were like, yo, you want to spit something? And then I was like, there's no way
He's gonna use
Sizwe's going to
use-
give Rhapsody my beat. And sure enough, he's like, yo, we got this kid, Speeka. Bro, I broke down, bro.
I can imagine, bro.
Rhapsody
Rhapsody
just-
is spitting on my
went-
beats.
You know? So yeah, that was an insane time for me, man.
Yeah. Speaking of insane times, the way your story moves, bro, is crazy because it's so unconventional. Because you're like the epitome of winging it and making it happen. Like your passion just pulls through because Sotra Cyphers came out during lockdown.
Yeah,
Long before.
yeah.
But in terms of like when we're all locked in our cribs, and now people like really seeing what it was about. Because at the time, I think obviously the energy, the mood in the world in general wasn't the best, especially for anyone who's in a creative space.
Right.
But I think what was genius in terms of the timing is that people should be able to have ciphers and raps. So for me, I think I saw even like a spike because obviously we're watching all the time, like, you know, during lockdown, anytime the levels changed. But what did COVID do for like the ciphers? Because obviously they'd been around, but I think now just from the eyes and everyone being stuck indoors.
Yeah, and like, you know, during COVID, like you mentioned, like all of us are indoors and all of us are on the internet. So most people, that's when they sort of like started paying attention to Sotra ciphers. And one of the things that was born, one of the other ciphers that came about was with Slaghuis.
KZN lockdown cipher.
Slaghuis put out the KZN lockdown ciphers, and he had mentioned to me that, man, your ciphers, your Sotra ciphers, was one of the things that made us go, hey man, we should also, because at the time, because I couldn't shoot any new episodes, so all I was doing was just reposting my old stuff.
Yeah.
And then once we were able to like go out for a split second, I'd shoot.
Quickly, then the
Come
lockdown
back
again,
in and
yeah.
then put out episodes. So I think for me personally, one of the best things that came from the lockdown was the fact that it inspired Slaghuis to start his own KZN Lockdown Cypher, and then eventually come to collaborate with me on the KZN Lockdown Cypher meets Sotra Cyphers, which was so dope for me, man, because before even the Sotra Cyphers, I had always wanted to work with Slaghuis, like produce for him or whatever, but it never panned out. So the fact that here's this thing that I was doing
in conjunction with Slaghuis,
you know, and it led me to one of the guys that I was chasing
and wanted to meet.
It was a massive win for me, man.
Beautiful part of your story because it's so unconventional. Like how, I mean, with Pro, Slaghuis, Slaghuis, you always manage to meet the people you want to work with. And what I like is the fact that sometimes it's in life, it's not just how, it doesn't go to our plan, how we want to see things, but it always does come together. What I do want to touch on real quick is like, you know, when we now know Speeka, we know the voice, SABC One, intros to shows. How you get so many shows on SABC, bro? Like, yo, we need, like, I was dying of the many things. I'm dying to ask Speeka that because the reason, besides the attention you get on a national platform, personally, I'm just so happy for you that summer because I mean we've chopped it up, Beatmakers Market. We always link other platforms, and I'm just always happy when someone who's about the culture front and center gets those kind of platforms.
Right.
How y'all make that happen? Because I assume obviously it's not just a cakewalk. There's processes that need to be followed to get on. But how you get the shows on SABC?
Keep it 100 with you, dog. I'm not the guy who pulls up to SABC on some, yo, what's up? You know,
I got a show.
I work for a company which is Where's the Beef Media
With Enzo.
With Enzo. So he handles all of that, you know. So he's the one putting in the, you know, knocking on the doors.
Meetings, taking meetings with execs.
With me, it's just, hey, brah, are we writing? Let's write this next season. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are we nice? Let's shoot. And then once all that is done, then the team then handles
that
trying to put it out there. Okay. And he's probably going to punch me in the face for putting, because now people are going to come
to him like, yo, put me on, like, yo.
Yeah, but I've just been fortunate enough that like someone like that, you know, who is part of the culture was able to recognize that here's this kid that is sort of like me, who loves this culture and continues to put in work for it. And if there's anyone that I'm gonna take this journey with, it's gonna be this kid. And with me, like I mentioned, dog, me, if you say hip hop,
9 times out of
if you
10,
hand me hip hop, if you say hip hop, 9 times out of 10, when you call me, I told you I'm not gonna talk cars, dog. But if we're talking hip hop, I'll be there. Saturday 12, I'm there. You know,
bro, and I really appreciate you coming through because, like, even I remember when I met you at Beatmakers Market, you not only were you part of it with Enzo, you were actually shooting content, but if you just see Speaker half the time, he's going off to beats, people going crazy. Like, I always enjoy those kind of events because it speaks to grassroots. It speaks to grassroots and people who have got love for hip hop. I remember I met guys from Mpumalanga, producer like Pills Titan, who came in for the show and the competition at Beatmakers, and I love just the fact that there's a healthy culture of people who are still about hip hop, and there's people like you in the back. Or more in the, if you were to look at your socials, ain't none about Speaker being in the back, front and center, but just documenting everything. And it goes without saying, and it should be said, that you give a platform to so many rappers. And I also like the fact that you're so much about Kasi hip hop. Soweto to the core. Like, I can't think of, I think of Speaker, I think of hip hop, and I think of Soweto, bro. All day, bro. And like, and that's the birthplace of a lot of things, hip hop, the struggle. And I love that you just comes through with the passion. So before we wrap up, I was going to take some questions from the homies who got on mic, but I want to ask you, bro. Patiama Pansula, you got Yano's hand, lot of song. When your mixtape coming out, bro?
So, right now, I'm actually done with my new project. It's called Organized Crime 2. I dropped the first official single in August called Yano's Han, right? And then I sort of unofficially dropped that second joint with Envy and Sizwa Lakai and Chizo and Jimmy Wiz.
Bro, fire joint,
and
bro.
And Tagati Kush.
Shout out to Envy, bro.
Shout out to Envy.
Your rapper's favorite. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah, your rapper's favorite your favorite rapper's
favorite rapper. Exactly.
So I'm in the process of trying to get a distribution sorted. I initially wanted to drop it on the 15th of March, which is my late pops' birthday, but due to the deals that I'm trying to hook up with a distributor, I may need to push it a little bit back. But when it drops, it's going to be a moment, because I feel like this is probably, in terms of like putting together a body of work, this is like my best work, right? I mean, obviously, people who've been listening for years will tell me, "Oh, but Litabo was the one."
Exactly.
You know,
fans, they always come back to that.
But for me, homie,
the person who's producing
this one that I'm about to drop, because I feel like it's like the first time that I've been able to put together a body of work to a point where I had to like sort of delegate certain things, because all these years I've been mixing my own stuff, I've been mastering my own stuff. So for the first time, I was like, you know what?
I've got a team.
I'm going to delegate. I'm going to say the homie there must please do the mixing for me, dog, because I know I'm okay with the mixing, but I know you are way better.
And you can
please
do it.
handle that. The music video, I was like, okay, I know I shoot and edit music videos myself, but I was like, Jovi Slash, my dog, I've seen what you can do with the camera. I have a concept for the video, but I don't want to shoot it myself. Can you please handle this for me? He came through, so just putting together the whole thing and delegating certain things to certain homies is what makes this particular project my proudest moment, because I wasn't on my usual one-man army.
I don't need anybody. I got this. Yo, to some of y'all out there, we always say, use what you have. But if you have people in your circle, delegate. Especially, ain't nothing wrong. I know it's a badge of honor within music, especially hip hop. Like, I produced, production, did the album cover, everything. That's all well and good. But never sleep on the network of people you have in your circles. And sometimes it just starts with going in your phone book, asking around socials, DMs, because that's one thing I really appreciate about you, Speaker. You just tapped into your networks. So networks don't only just work in corporate spaces. At the end of the day, there's nothing more African than community. It's like the epitome of Ubuntu. Who's in my circle? If you didn't have your passion, you don't meet Enzo. If you don't just happen to mention it, you don't shoot the Slaghuis documentary. And then just everything, the awards, SABC, the shows. And like you said, there's people who handle that whole thing of knocking down the doors, meetings with execs, and getting that part to come through. But my G, thank you so much for coming through. You know, before we're gonna wrap up, we're gonna take maybe questions. I don't know if the homies have got questions. We got more money, more problems. That maybe y'all might get to hear her voice at some point. We're gonna save that for later. But yo, dude, I really appreciate you coming through. I mean, the last thing I wanted to say to you is high level question, but I'm a huge fan of just everything Soweto. You know, Soweto's just alive. Period. I think the homies, Tsepo, my partner in this show, he's from Soweto. What would you say was the influence of Soweto, where you grew up, in just your life and your passion with hip hop and everything you do? Because I'm a firm believer that every we're all products of our environment.
Yeah,
exactly. So for you,
man, I am 100% a product of my environment. And if we're talking Soweto, I mentioned earlier TKZ, right? TKZ, like as the years went by, they sort of like represented the exact person that I was. Because if you look at TKZ, okay, two of the members from TKZ are from Soweto. The late great Makash and Kabelo, they're from Soweto. And then you had Zwai. So with Tokolo and Makash, they were from the hood, but they went to these quote white schools, right? And I had a similar upbringing, you know, because I was in the hood, but I went to
a Model C type school.
A Model C type school. And for me, I always felt like I could never fit in with
the homies from the hood.
With the homies from the hood. Because you are Model C, whatever. And then when I'm at the Model C's, this guy is so ghetto.
He's ghetto, you know.
So you always felt like
you feel like you don't belong, you don't fit in.
So TKZ came through, and I was like, that's who I am. These guys are on these hardcore Kwaito beats, and they're throwing in their Model C-ness. That's me.
Gave you the blueprint.
You know, they fit in with the hood guys. That's me. They fit in with the Model C, whatever. That's me. So they sort of shaped this duality, you know, that I've lived of,
and helping you find the balance,
and helping me find that exact balance. Because that's why to this day, man, I embrace my Soweto-ness. I've got Kwaito tatted on my skin.
It doesn't get more Soweto than that, bro. Exactly.
You know, so Kwaito, importantly, it's a huge part of me, because it sort of represents how I discovered my creative spark. It started with Kwaito, and then it sort of like slipped into everything else that I do and how I discovered hip hop. So. Definitely my environment, Soweto, TKZ,
to the core.
They shape me, man. And then obviously in terms of hip hop, your pros, pro man.
The GOAT.
He made you proud
to be from Soweto.
Man. I mean, he had a song called Soweto that when you play that joint now, anyone who's from Soweto, we damn near stand in attention like we're singing like a national anthem. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely, man, my love for Soweto, my love for Kwaito, my love for hip hop stems around all these guys that I grew up just watching from a distance.
Bro, I cannot thank you enough, man. Thanks so much for coming through. No,
thank you, bro.
I always know, for me, like I've always said, any platform, any chance I get to put light on people like you, while we still have you, because you're doing so much, and it's sometimes, you know, unsung heroes. Like I feel some type of way about that, because they shouldn't be unsung. You know, like it's not only the artists, not only the actors, it's only the athletes. There's people who make these things happen. The content you see, the production, our favorite teams. There's the people who are pivotal to making that happen. And for you, for Soweto, for hip hop, for Kasi rap, and I keep saying that because in the space that is the music business, sometimes a lot of guys won't even get a chance. So you're giving back. You may not realize it, but you're giving back because people along the way gave you a chance. You just see it as your passion for hip hop. You're dope. Come and spit. Come on, Sotra Cyphers. But in doing that, you are helping people achieve dreams the same way C's did with your beats.
Right.
You know, without C's, you don't get Rhapsodies on a speaker beat. Without Red Button, going at the full clip. And your life thus far is a beautiful journey of you. You see yourself chasing your passion, but inadvertently, you know, you're helping people, adding value to people's lives, and not just even with hip hop, with producers, people you work with, your team, cameramen. Because at the end of the day, they say, you know, I've worked with Speaker. This is what we did, and they can branch off and do other things, and it just becomes a beautiful tree. I'm big on that, you know, just because sometimes it's just the smallest things. Without even realizing it, we can add value to other people's lives. You can't save everybody. You don't have to be a superhero, but not all superheroes wear capes. So my guy, Speaker, Thank you so much for coming through. Before we wrap up, I don't know, from the homies in the background, I would like to thank Tsepo. Thank you to Vinyl_T on the boards. Parks for the day. Shout out to the homie gang. If they,
I wanted to ask you one question. What's your favorite cipher?
My favorite Sotra Cypher?
Yeah.
There's an episode that I dropped a few weeks ago, part 63. Part 63 features a cat called Ngwatu and a female vocalist / MC called Ferdy. And funny enough, I discovered them on the same evening at an event called Heartbeats Worldwide. And literally, as they got off stage, I was geeking out and got their contacts. And that episode is probably one of my favorite. Period. That's my favorite.
Over Stogie.
Why are you doing this to me?
Why are you putting homie on the spot?
It's fine. Next time.
No worries, bro. So, yo, for those of you who are on Sotra Cyphers, go check out episode 63. Go check out the episode with Reason. Go check out the one with Seas with Alkaline. Homie did his thing.
Two of them things.
Two.
Yes, and Envy and P.O.
The names, see the names that this man is just waxing off the top.
And Tizo.
So
and Tombela. Sorry.
We could be, go for it, my guy. We could be here all day, but thank you so much. So we are wrapping up the first episode. As I mentioned, in my humble opinion, we are here, VW in Melrose. We made it. Mama, I made it. We are here in the north. To me, in my unhumble opinion, we are at the premier dealership amongst all VW dealerships. Don't at me, don't DM me. Come here and see for yourself. I mean, just look at these couches, bro. Look at these couches. Look at the floor. We're comfortable, bro. Look right there. It says Hatfield Motor Group rated top 2, but not 2. Number 1 in service. Thank you so much to Mo, who is now officially known as AKA Mo Money, Mo Problems, for giving us this facility. Thank you to Gemmo. Hopefully you guys will get to meet her. We appreciate so much the good people here at VW and Melrose for this platform. Some of you are probably going to still understand the conversations in the dealership. That's the beauty of this content we're going to be creating. It's just so unprecedented, unconventional, but you know how we do. You know the group, No Hidden Agenda Media Group. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the people in the background. And soon, as we roll out the show, we're going to open it to you guys. Give us the views. Let me end by getting you at speaker. If we get 1,000 views out the gate real quick on YouTube, we'll open up to the public. We have a mic, Also, we want you to come through and just enjoy this dealership and what they have going on. But thank you so much. As always, it's your boy, Uncle Kash, a.k.a. the Joburg Bachelor. Thank you to Tsepo, my co-crime partner in everything. We're going to give you more content. And to Vinyl_T. Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.